I might start with trust, if I can.
Sure, go ahead.
And this is really, really interesting. And I've had a couple of conversations in the last, say, 6 months with different organisations who have come to Deloitte. This might be an OEM, it could be a government body or others. And they've said, Deloitte, we need critical minerals for the next 10 to 20 years. Help us find them. And I've got a checkbook. So this is real, right?
Yeah.
And I've got a big checkbook. And it's like we've got the answer to everything, right? What they're not understanding in that initial question is establishing trust amongst the different partners that are going to be required in order to enable them to have those critical minerals so that they can grow and go through their different goals. So in one of those situations, I actually sat down with the organisation. I said, look, we can take you to different mining companies who may or may not be interested in talking to you about their investment in different countries. But I said, first, we actually need you to establish a thought piece, really, or a narrative around why should these organisations, why should these mining companies trust you? How can you be part of their broader ecosystem? How can you make their communities and their network richer and more purposeful as a result of partnering with you? And those that went aha actually then went away, right? Went away and thought about it and came back with a much more considered view in months' time. Others were just like, no, I've got money to spend and I've got the checkbook, let's go and have the meetings.
Yeah.
And you can guess what would have happened, right? Those that were more successful in having second, third, fourth meetings, and those who were successful in securing that supply chain were those that really took the time to get to know the organisation and how they can work together.
And I think the trust component links a lot of the other trends together. If I just think about Trend 5, for instance, it talks about regulatory reform and permitting and all of those sort of things. If one just thinks about how long it's going to, how much is, what will be required to support the energy transition in the longer term, how many more mines we would need and all of those sort of things. And one of the big constraints that we see is that it takes around 16 years for a new mine to come online. And it is required that we have a look at the regulatory framework and how quickly we can, and how efficient the bureaucracy can be in approving those permits and licenses to help us ensure that we get those mines online. There's no shortcuts that needs to be taken, but there is some interdepartmental optimizations that can be done. And I think from a South Africa perspective, the new cadastral system that's been awarded, I think is very encouraging, because it's going to create a lot of transparency and also create a bit of a visibility of where these applications are in the process.
I'm curious to know about the role of technology in shortening the period around exploration. I don't know if you want to, either of you want to touch on that. At the Mining Indaba, we're hearing a lot of conversations around shortening the time of exploration using technology or drone technology and the like. You want to comment on that?
Look, I think our colleague Stuart Newpin, the head of the mining advisory team, will probably expand on that a lot. But there's things like AI and machine learning that's being applied that is very encouraging to see, and some of the initial results are very positive.
Is it?
Of that, yes.
And that comes back to the image of mining. So, you know, when you look at the global sectors, it's the second worst sector in terms of the image. So we all, as mining practitioners, have got to do something about that. We've got to tell more great stories. There's so much to be done in mining. This is not the old days where, like there is so much to do, so much that's exciting, and you can do a lot of it remotely as well, right? So
and again, and I think that builds on your first trend around trust.
Around trust, and collaboration.
Yeah.